Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show.
Olá Bom Dia ALEGRIA, Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, live stream and podcast. And I am delighted to share with you, it's official because it's in the paper and it's on the internet. It's not on TikTok, of course. It is Green and Red Monday. Now, I'll go into some of the reasons for that and share that a little bit more about this with you as our main news story of the day. It was a tough and tight one. Who doesn't love a tough and tight one first thing in the morning? And then he went with the Portuguese's clickbaity, salacious, scandalous tax-related headline on his latest video. Actually, it was his latest video when I saw it yesterday, but he's probably made 3 or 4 since then. Yeah, it was this that he was talking about yesterday. I wonder if I press the button, if it'll play. Can you hear this?
Bom Dia Portugal, to Dubai. This is Portugal set to follow Spain's lead with a hefty tax on British holiday homes. Let's check it out.
A's good, A's good, A's good, A's good.
Wicked. Right, so that was the Portugueser drawing us into that, news baity, clickbaity. Oh, thank you very much. Black coffee on Green and Red Day here in Portugal, not Blue Monday here in Portugal. Back to that in just a moment. After we've said a few hellos, it's a very interesting morning, I think. It's a very interesting day. Coach Turner was in first. Great to see you on Friday, Coach. Bom dia, Gumpas e Feliz Segunda. Como estão? Off to collect granddaughters from school later. The older one will be off to big school in September. They grow up so quickly. Thank you very much, Coach, for the update. I am asking everybody, and this is connected with Green and Red Monday here in Portugal, for 3 things you're grateful for your life here in Portugal. You can get them in now if you like. I will show you mine if you show me yours as well. Bon dia. Just 3 things. Don't need to go into too much detail, but you can if you want, and you can send pictures on this Green and Red Monday to 913-590-303 as well. But it's just 3 things. It could be 3 words. The 3 things you're grateful for here in Portugal. Today, right now. Bon dia, morning greetings. Morning gets. That's a Sheffielders group. All right, your morning gets. Morning greetings from a chilly and moist Minho. It's a moist one this morning. Happy Monday. A chilly Minho or a moist. It's both chilly and moist Minho. Happy Monday and a great week ahead. The nice emojis there. Tony time. A man in the Minho. Always great to hear from you, Tony. And my greeting earlier on. It is Bon dia Verde Vermelho this morning. Pedder's in as well with a reminder. Is there something going on in America today? Olá Bom Dia Portugal. Today is the return of the Trump Day. Bom Dia ALEGRIA Gumpas from T-Duck. Good to see you. Nice to have a chat with you earlier this morning as well. Good news about the music. Good morning, everyone, from Gemini as well. Gemini, thank you for joining us live in the chat here, because often I get a message from you, and thank you for those messages that you put on the videos themselves. Always grateful to receive any comments over on the YouTube channel, and great to see you live here in this environment as well. Bon dia, Colin Gumpas from a dull, mild Belfast, 8 degrees. But to turn colder this week, struggle to stay over 0 there in Northern Ireland. Lots of love to you and family Deagle. Bom dia Portugal from João Ernesto de Norte, who can open his jaw as wide as he darn well likes at the moment. That's fantastic news, John. Bom dia Gumpers from Mike and Karen in Miranda de Corvo as well. And Peter, Bom dia Alegria, burning all day today. I will smell like a frazzle by the end of it. Some say you normally do, Peter. But extra brushwood, smoky flavor, hickory flavored Peter later on today. So yeah, burning your brush, are you? Burning your old bush off, Peter. Bon dia Gumpers from Jackie as well. Right. So here we are, the Bon Dia Daily, news, weather, language, culture, well-being here in Portugal. Got a few giggles from Stephen Wright, which we didn't get around to last week, and we still might not this morning. I think it's an interesting day. It's an interesting morning, and I want to take you to this Green and Red Monday idea. We'll do a bit of weather. Language and culture, I think we should probably leave to... we're never far away from language and culture, but we're certainly going to get a good smattering from Vitor and Maria Costa, who will be here at 8:40, and James here at 8:20, of course. But let me just go into this Green and Red Monday thing. And I am asking you for your 3 things you're grateful for about here in Portugal. Thank you very much. 3 things today: cockerels in the morning, who doesn't like? Tractors in the roadway, and cobblestone streets. I feel my heart swelling a little bit in a good way with you enjoying that this morning, João Ernesto, up there in the north of Portugal. Cockerels in the morning, tractors in the roadway, and cobble streets. Very audio visual, very kinesthetic. Thank you very much there. And Douglas is, oh, you back in Portugal, especially for Green and Red Monday. Nice one, Doug, from Regrengos de Monserrat. That's Alentejo, is it not? We can't all keep our bush like you 70s proponents. We have trimmed 200 trees, and you wouldn't leave a Brazilian with all the hair around it, would you? I don't know what to say, Peter. But one thing I might say is that one of the things you're grateful for this morning as we celebrate Green and Red Monday. And I'm hoping this is going to be an annual tradition. Discover Wales. Bon dia from a damp Peixe de Galas there. Well, Borada to you, Discover Wales. That's fantastic. What is going on? No sooner had I last week mentioned a Welsh invasion in the company here of Jackie, Doug, and Pedder. And Coach Turner, he's got a bit of Welsh in him as well. Doesn't like a bit of Welsh in them first thing in the morning. And do you know what? Discover Wales. If you are the National Welsh Tourist Board, please accept that with my compliments. Who doesn't like a bit of Welsh in them first thing in the morning? You can have that. Borada! And thank you very much for being here, Cariad, this morning. Right, where were we? We were, and it's damp over there as well. Thank you for your weather update. I'm not entirely surprised, I have to say. Damp in Wales? What? Right, over to the Portugal resident for today's news. No, not the Portuguese's 100% tax on non-EU residents' property purchases here in Portugal. He's suggesting, because of something he saw in a UK newspaper, who heard something from the guy down the pub, that Portugal might follow suit with Spain's plan to put a 100% tax on property purchases here on the Iberian Peninsula, on the Spanish side, and Portugal might follow suit. I don't think, if I may debunk and deflate that story a little bit, Portuguese, I don't think there's anything in it. It's all hot air. I mean, you should watch the video, of course. And you can take him to task direct tomorrow evening when I talk with him on Munson and the Geezer. And he's not the Messiah. He's definitely a very naughty boy. Right, let's bring onto the screen this Green and Red Monday idea. Now, for the last 2 years, maybe longer, I don't know. Oh, look, my new Speechify app, floating app, is on the screen. I can have AI read this to you, although I'm not entirely happy with AI. So let's see if this works. Oh, sign up to listen. I thought we already had. That's why the thing's on the screen. Well, you see, this is typical AI, isn't it? So much promise and so little in the delivery. Talking of AI, well, this is my avatar. I could have my avatar read this for you this morning. Facebook's version of AI. I mean, it's uncannily accurate. That's me, everybody, by the way. And then when you ask Grok, please show me pictures of Carl Munson, because I wanted to get a picture of myself draped in a Portuguese flag. I thought Grok could do that fairly simply. Here are your pictures, everybody, of Carl Munson. Please show a head and shoulders photo of Carl Munson of Good Morning Portugal. There he is. 4 different people, none of whom look like me, except they're all blokes with clean-shaven faces and not a massive amount of hair. Rubbish. Don't worry, AI's got a little way to go yet. Right, back to Green and Red Monday then. It's on the internet, it's in the paper, it must be true. And this is the main thrust and point, really, is on today of all days, we can see very clearly today of all days, especially in America, if we are choosing to be a victim or a creator. As the world occurs to you, are you in victimhood or are you in creative mode? I would have thought that was fairly obvious a choice, but it seems to dog mankind, doesn't it? Well, I suppose it's an issue for the ego each and every single moment of our lives, really, isn't it? Am I being a victim here of circumstances often that are being created by other people, like I'm about to do here, or am I being creative, as I was a few days ago. Submitted it to the lovely Ines Lopes, the editor of Portugal Resident, and she decided to run with it. And this is it. As Blue Monday 2025 looms with its self-fulfilling prophecy of gloom and doom. And this is what James took me to task about. Basically, the worst day of the year as a perfect storm. And today, some people, you see, some of the victims and some of the victim encouragers and supporters are calling it Blue Monday, not us, you notice. It's basically the worst day of the year in terms of financial, emotional, and sociological factors. But we're not tolerating it. And James has been brilliant on this. He's been a stand for keep your Blue Monday and stick it where the sun don't shine, because it often isn't on Blue Monday. And it had me thinking. And so no, Segunda Azul is not for us Gumpers. Instead, prepare for and please partake in Green and Red Monday, a beacon of down-to-earth positivity and gratitude, shining for the rest of a potentially wallowing world to see. That's us. That's you right now if you choose to pick up the baton and run with it. If all goes well, we, yes, us here, right here this morning, might go down in history as the people who from January the 21st onwards tomorrow had others ask, what's green and red and loved all over? And the answer will be Portugal, of course, with its enviable lifestyle and its antidote to the glum, the numb, and the inner grumpy bum. If your inner grumpy bum is vociferous this morning, just talk to it nicely as though it were your inner child, because that's what it is, really. The Blue Monday concept, though widely dismissed as pseudoscience or a PR stunt, I suspect endures because it is relatable and makes some sense in our own lived experience as complex human beings. And none of these things can work, can they? Unless we can relate to them in some sort of way. So thank you for that. Very good, picking up and running with the joke. Why did the red tomato turn green? It's almost a green and red Monday joke, because it saw the salad dressing. Thank you very much for that. Classic. Thank you very much there. And good morning to you, Bob and Viv. Back to Green and Red Monday. Nice try distracting me there, T-Duck. People can be brought down by seasonal affective disorder, and finances can be tighter when the new year begins. That's what Blue Monday is all about. Following possible overspending and indulgence in the preceding month, resolutions are made and broken, and high hopes may meet with down-to-earth realities, as has already been seen this year, right? Even in just the first few weeks of this anno novo. And of course, this of all years will be especially challenging for some American friends who can't even speak the name of their new president, let alone welcome him graciously into office on this very day, already dubbed the saddest day of the year. Not necessarily because of that. This by electrical and electronic retailers Wharton. They gave us the saddest day of the year idea, but they just want you to go and buy some white goods, don't they? Also consumer electronics, electricals to cheer yourself up on such a day. They go on to explain that in English, the term blue is an expression. And I know what's coming, Peter, from your mind and mouth. In English, the term blue is an expression used to express discouragement and unhappiness. Although when I was a boy, and Peter will remember and remind us now, it also referred to a certain kind of movie upon which we need not dwell this morning. And our Democrat Party supporting acquaintances will most certainly not be having a Blue Monday, will they? It's a Red Monday in America. The creation of this day only took place in 2005, Wharton remind us, but the expression Blue Monday was already used long before that date. One example, New Order's song, of course. And, they took that, apparently, 1983, they took their inspiration from an illustration by Kurt Vonnegut in the book Breakfast for Champions. And the main character in Breakfast for Champions, or Breakfast of Champions, I beg your pardon, is Hertie. And there was a Fats Domino tune in 1957 called Blue Monday as well. Now, we've just seen in Portugal a Blue Monday festival as well. I think that's just finished. And that was a Lindy Hop and blues dancing festival. They were all about freeing us from the blues. So nice start, Portugal, when it comes to get thee back Blue Monday. So it is a thing, more or less. And what remains is the effort of shunning its worst effects and taking evasive action. How then not to worry and be happy when the whiff of misery hangs heavy in the air with so many invitations to subscribe to the negative vibe? So it's Gumpers, friends, Romans, countrymen, Portuguese people, join us and subscribe to the positive vibe here this morning. And staying with US politics and culture for a moment, if you're looking for a bit of a giggle, here you can see your new ambassador, Americans. He is the one, he's leading the way when it comes to Green and Red Monday. He's got a lovely green tunic on, a green elf outfit, and red hair. Nice start, João Arrigo, or John Arrigo, who is the new... he must be starting today as well. I think the recumbent, or the formerly recumbent, resigned, moved on yesterday. And John Arrigo should be here in Portugal. Oh, no, he'll be at the inauguration, presumably, and be flying over to Portugal. And there he is. What a cracking start to putting a smile on our faces. There he is. He's also the vice president and does that say general manager? Not anymore. He's not. I don't think he's going to be doing both jobs anymore. He is a car dealer in Florida. You can find out more if you want to buy a car in Florida off the now Portuguese ambassador. John Arrigo is your man, and there he is, keep putting a smile on our faces there. The green and red I speak of, however, are those featured in the Portuguese national flag, as you can see behind me now, as I tried to get AI to generate me draped in a Portuguese flag, emblematic and respectful of this country's past. Vermelho red, that's the past, whilst remaining optimistic about the future. Verde, green. This is the kind of message the world needs on a Blue Monday when down in the dumps. Let's not only personify these values, bold, loud, and proud, like the other national Trevor, the Barcelos cockerel would. And that's what John's grateful for. Don't forget to keep these things you're grateful for coming in. The Barcelos cockerel. Cockerels have been mentioned already. Join me, friends, and share what you love about life here in that logically impossible way that the Portuguese have of having pride and humility in each individual heart, wherever they happen to be stationed in the world. Tell the world how grateful you are to be here, not to annoy or gloat, but to strike a chord of contentment and hold the line of levity, friends. Hold the line of levity, such that others whose domes may drop today on Blue Monday might know where to return when their weary heads can be lifted once more. Go ahead and partake fully and freely in our gift to the world's mental health with Green and Red Monday by sending your pictures. In this context this morning, it's probably easier if you haven't got a picture of something you're grateful for here in Portugal. Just send me the three things. Put the three things you're grateful for on the screen. But you can send me pictures and videos to 913-590-303, which I encourage and welcome you to do every day. Anyway, and whilst we're holding the line of levity, on a serious and psychotherapeutic note, if you're finding this time of the year tough, when the shortest days can the colder weather and damp conditions, plus a notable lack of Portuguese sunshine, do join us on the Good Morning Portugal show every day. And I hear James joining us in the background there. We can't guarantee to cheer you up when you join us here in the mornings, but because I think happiness is an inside job, right? But we will do our best, as will the regulars who tune in. That's you folks, you gumpers, and we will endeavor every morning here, not just this morning of Green and Red Monday, but we'll do our best to share the lighter side of life with you and provide some fertile soil in which your joy beans can germinate and grow. And who doesn't like to have their fertilized joy beans watered, delicately tended to? That's how we roll here on Good Morning Portugal. And that's what Green and Red Monday is all about. Your three things that you're grateful for. Please keep them coming in. That, my friends, is Green and Red Monday. Read all about it in the Portugal Resident online. I can do the link for that if you want to send that to other people around the world. And we're going to find out what James makes of my reframe of Blue Monday into Green and Red Monday in just a moment. He is a big advocate of gratitude, of course, and he may share with us his three favorite things. Wales is beautiful. It's about Portugal, everybody, this morning. What's going on here? We're having a Welsh infiltration. God only knows what infiltration is in Welsh. It's probably a very long word indeed. But it's interesting what's going on here. I've had a few holidays in Wales as well, Gemini. Most of the sheep, yes, think Wales, think sheep. Around here have a bit of Welsh. No, Peter. Get more rain than Wales does here in central Portugal. The difference is we get sun. Bob and Bev, morning to you. Bom dia todos. Speaking of Wales, we'll be visiting our Welsh son-in-law as well. Of course, visiting Viv's daughter. The Welsh need all the financial help they can get this time of year. Oh, lambing season means a CSA payments will be coming soon. Thank you for that. Why did the red tomato turn green joke? Because it saw the salad dressing, of course. And, of course, the Welsh flag is red and green too. Yes, that's great, isn't it? The red dragon. Now that's a banner, says Pedder there. Hugh's in now, morning. This is the day. You see, he's choosing not to be a victim. Oh, is he? I mean, this is the day in America, isn't it? Where you've got somebody new upon which you can put all your blame and negativity, or you can project your savior that the Savior is here. Hallelujah. And to me, that's two sides of the victim thing. You know, like someone else will make me happy, possibly. Or are we going to go for the creative route, folks? Bom dia, gambas. Feliz segunda. Todos como foi. Oh, he can say that himself in just a moment. The comments are coming in. We'll come back to some of those. I just want to do, James, I want to do the weather very quickly, if I may, because the temperature's gone up. Hold your horses, mate. And let's just have a very quick look, because that's what the Bom Dia Daily is all about. News, weather, culture, language. We'll come back to Maria and to Vitor for that. And a bit of well-being. We will do that. I'll finish with that this morning. But just a quick scan of the weather then, if I bring that onto the screen for you to see. Out with the lovely Sarah Davey last night. Spartan FX, of course, is who are about weather. Not literally. I mean, Spartan FX aren't controlling the weather nor the currency. But the weather today brought to you courtesy of Spartan FX. 16 degrees, the high in Lisbon. Might be a bit rainy, but this rain, the return of the rain, is bringing some milder weather, some milder temperatures, as you can see there. 12 degrees in Porto. Coimbra, 10 degrees, 13 the high there. Faro, 17 the high. It's all creeping up. Spring is just around the corner. Braga, 10 degrees with a high of 12. So rainy, but milder. Let's play his theme tune, shall we? And bring him on and see what he makes of my reframe of the Blue Monday into the green and red.
Bom dia!
Woo! Bom dia verde vermelho, amigo. Tudo bem?
Muito bem, obrigado.
Muito obrigado.
Muito bem, sim?
Sim.
Não é?
Excelente. It's Good Morning Portugal. Let me just change up them banners on the screen there. Comments, please, in the chat. Pick some videos on this green and red Monday to 913-590-303. How do you like me now, James? Blue Monday for the last couple of years, I think. I'm
over it.
What? I'm already red.
You're all over it.
Right, okay. I'm quite red.
And then there's some kind of a it's like a something on something. And anyway, make it up. Yes.
Pick it up. Do what you want. Right. Yeah.
Every time you say you're going to talk about the weather, I think about George Carlin as a hippy dippy weatherman.
Oh,
you familiar with that sketch?
Sounds great.
He comes on. He's the character is high as a kite and delivering the weather on like a television weather spot.
Yeah.
And he says, tonight's weather,
man,
dark, remaining dark through most of the light, turning to lightly to morning, turning to lightly scattered light by the morning. That's his weather forecast.
What a legend. George Carlin, what a legend, right? He knew, didn't he? He knew about the difference between victimhood and creativity, I think.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure he probably has some sort of shtick on it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's a club and you ain't in it. I think it was part of it as well. Right. Okay. Yeah. So I have these last 3 years ramming Blue Monday down your throat and you standing firm against it, James. Pah! You can keep your Blue Monday. I think this is the result. It's largely due to you. Thank you.
Well, lest we get confused, I love the color blue.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a big fan of the mood blue. Not that I'm against that either. What I'm against is the advertising that this is the time to be that.
Yes.
This Monday, be sad, be upset, have a hard time, make it your blue, dark blue Monday. Come on. Yes. It's kind of like the joke when someone says, have a nice day, and the person turns around and says, don't tell me what kind of day to have.
That's quite a British response.
All right, calm down. I was just trying to.
And worse still, though, right, James? The antidote or the solution, which is quickly offered thereafter, is buy this because that will sort out your Blue Monday.
Exactly. Yes, it's the advertising hype. It's fashion magazines. It's just everywhere. Especially in advertising, is designed to make you feel bad about yourself so that you'll buy their thing to feel better. That's pretty much the standard advertising approach.
Yes.
And as I understood it, Blue Monday was essentially being used in this sense by travel agencies who are trying to hype up, travel, go somewhere else. You won't be blue if you leave where you are. Yeah. Well, to that I say BS, because you take it wherever you are, there you are.
Yes, a little bit of a spoiler. My article this week is, of course, Green and Red Monday in the paper.
I saw that, full color.
James, this coming week it's not about Portugal, it's about you, which I think you might also approve of, which is all to do with that same sentiment of wherever you go, there you are. And working on the country, as we often find out on a Tuesday evening when we're hanging out, trying to change the country, it turns out to be a little bit more difficult than changing yourself, perhaps, if there's something that's...
Or your underwear, yes.
Hold on a minute. In the hierarchy of change, where are you putting underwear?
Well, I guess it depends on what's going on at the time.
It's how you feel.
If you've just been caught by your girlfriend's parents, it might be much trickier than if you're just getting up in the morning. So
you can explain.
Right. Okay. I was just changing. That's it.
It's so hot in here.
Yes.
Right. A few comments.
Do you know what color you get, by the way, when you mix red and green?
No. Does it go into a sort of murky brown?
Yeah, just brown.
Okay, thanks for that. Bom dia, rapaziada. Look at that JMC. We're loving JMC's company. Thank you for being here again this morning. And a few jokes. And the answer to my question. What three things are you grateful for here in Portugal? A lovely thing to do today. Be grateful. Remind yourself. Now, Peter.
Good one, Pete.
I'd like to pretend I don't understand this joke, but I actually do. I asked my Welsh friend how many sexual partners he had. He started counting, but he... nice big smile on his face. Right. 3 from Mike. The weather of Portugal. Yes, it's easier to say that today. The people in Portugal. Yes. And the food of Portugal. Yep. Well done. Thank you for that.
Well, here's my additional, because, I have to rag on you about this whole extensive research you're doing on days of sunshine.
Yes.
It's raining where I am. So how do you count that as a day of sunshine in Portugal?
Wait, is like Frank Sinatra said, if you don't like the weather in England, wait 5 minutes. It's not that different here in Portugal, James. That's how I deal with it.
Okay.
See, scientific as ever. Yeah. I will credit Frank Sinatra in my academic research paper, obviously, of course. So
well, if you wait long enough, you'll get a day of sunshine.
Yes.
And well, yeah, but it's got
to be within a 24-hour period, for heaven's sakes.
For how long?
How long does the sun need to be out?
Yes.
You need to reach I don't know if it's very complicated and scientific.
Yes.
And I will try and I was going to say dumb it down. I don't mean to sound patronizing.
Yeah. Well, I understand. It's very complicated for me.
It's very complicated for the layman such as yourself.
Yes.
But there is a very complex scientific technical term.
I'm sure
how you feel the warmth in your bones and you have a smile on your face. It's a very long word. It's a very technical term, but that's what you laypersons would understand.
It's sort of the equivalent of the Portuguese saudade. You just can't explain it. It's just
thank you. As much as scientists have tried, and many of my colleagues from the scientific community have tried to crack that nut. It's not easy. It's not an easy thing to do, and they deserve all the money and the accolades and I don't know, the respect that they get for these late nights, looking through microscopes, writing things down,
pointing the microscopes at the sky,
pointing their microscopes at the sky. You see, they make it look easy, but it's actually very, very complicated and difficult. But sorry, I interrupted you. What were you going to say about my scientific?
Hence the lack of reliability on a weather forecast. It's very complicated. That's right.
What's wrong with this thing?
What's the weather going to be? Well, right now it's raining, but wait, it'll change. I promise.
You see, but it does. You make it. I don't know. I'm hearing a little bit of disrespect from my community here.
I oversimplify. I do.
Yeah, that's
it comes
right.
from a simple mind.
You make it sound really simple, and it doesn't respect all the work that's gone in behind the scenes to come to that conclusion.
Yes. I'm sure it's the comfort I take when politicians tell me I don't know enough to understand why my simple answer won't work.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
I'm just a simple man.
Yes, exactly. Finally. Right. Well,
but I think what?
You were going to say something about 300 Days of Sunshine, I think.
I think I did it.
You were about to quote me. You were going to quote me.
For me, it really, it's always been with me, but my observation skills got sharpened when I went to grad school in the field of psychology, which is a lot about research. And there was an actual course designed to how to assess research. What does it mean in the various words you use for whether it's, reliable or not, and that kind of thing. And talk about complex. Research needs to be very complex if it's going to be accurate, because you have to take into account all the variables. Which is kind of what I play with you about the weather. It's like what constitutes a day of sunshine, how much of the country has to be in it, how all that stuff has to be taken in. Who are you asking if you're doing a verbal survey, and what's your bias as a researcher? I have no doubt you're going to come up with a huge number of days of sunshine, regardless of what is actually happening in the country. Yes, and not just you. Any researchers is going to be biased by their results. Will be biased by their initial idea.
Well said. Yeah. So you can play with my variables anytime. And
so much.
I am still looking for.
I decline.
That was a bit quick and hasty. I'm also looking for a sponsor for the 300 Days of Sunshine study. And I can promise them, some people might be thinking that, my impartiality will be upheld and respected. Certainly not. No, if somebody wants to sponsor this and get the result they want, I'm open to such offers. So
they won't get paid.
913-590-303. Okay. What's been on your mind then? I think you've given me both barrels about Green and Red Monday here. What else have you been thinking?
Well, I love the idea. And I joke a lot about the blue part because that's the fun part to make fun of. But anything that will redirect our attention to what we appreciate and enjoy and are grateful for is going to put us in a better state of mind. It has to. I guess the only place where it might backfire is if you're not willing to accept what you come up with. I'm grateful, that I breathe every day, but I'm always sick. Like that's not going to help you. I can't breathe on this now, whatever. But the idea is that there's always positive things going on, just like there's always negative things going on. So what do you choose to give your attention to?
Yes.
And it's training. If you're brought up to look at the negative stuff, it's going to be tough to find positive stuff.
Absolutely. Your
brain is really full of yeah buts.
Yeah, but and that's what we're up against, isn't it? So what do you recommend then? It's a matter of practice, and we can all laugh at ourselves in that, can't we? With the I'm so grateful for every breath, apart from the terrible cough I've got at the moment.
Yes,
sort of giving on the one hand, but taking away with the other, and that's conditioning and habit, isn't it? And that's the kind of the I was going to say daily. It's the momentary relationship with the ego, isn't it? Wanting to protect us. Protect us from our full glory sometimes, protect us from our full enjoyment of life in its protective role, right? So do you recommend just keep practicing then in that case?
Well, yes, it's a function in the way I see it. Like whenever I look at why is there a human tendency to do something a certain way? And there certainly is a human tendency to look at the negative. Yep. It's far easier to look and count and accumulate the negative than it is the positive. Mm-hmm. So whenever I see that kind of thing going on, I say, well, how does that position help us survive? And immediately you get the answer. If you're always looking at what's working, you're not going to see who's coming to kill you. You're not going to see, the weather that will destroy you and your household. You're not going to see that because you're not looking at it. You're, oh, look at the sunshine. We get 300 days a year, and then tornado, bam. It's like, ooh, I wasn't looking for that.
Day wasn't one of those sunshine days. Yes.
Yes, but if you are looking for the tornado, you're looking for the wild animal to attack you, you're looking for the enemy to take your home, then you'll be prepared when they show up. So I think it's part of our wiring, and what mindfulness and the approach that that worked really well for the caveman, but we're not exactly still exactly in those times. There are many similarities still, but
yes,
so it's a function of overriding the programming, or maybe not even overriding it, but just consciously finding what else is there besides that programming. And that takes time. It takes commitment, takes persistence. I mean, it can take years. I mean, I like to believe I've always been a positive person, but when I look back at who I was 10, 15, 20 years ago, when I realized that, you spent a lot of time complaining, James.
That's very interesting. That's very interesting. And only the passage of time has delivered that realization and information to you.
Well, and a conscious choice. I noticed, I'm complaining a lot. Being the light went on. The choice was, I don't want to be that. I don't want to be the guy who's always complaining about stuff. And I think I was far from sort of your average complainer, but for me, it was too much.
Complainer. Yes.
Whoever that is. So I said, I don't want to do that. Well, what do you need to do? You need to focus on what you appreciate or what you're grateful for, or, something positive, some appreciation rather than a complaint. And I'm not kidding when I say 10, 15, 20 years it's taken to get from that state where I was often ready with a complaint, usually inside my head. I wasn't speaking it out loud, but it took that long to retrain and refocus, and I still jump into a complaint, just not near as much. It's like, and usually I'll catch myself. So it's a long-term commitment to retraining, rewiring your brain to catch yourself first. Notice, I'm complaining again. What's my choice? What am I grateful for is always my go-to question. Take a deep breath. What am I grateful for? And then remind myself, and not just the rote thing. You can't just go, well, I always say this, and this. So I'll say this. It stops having meaning. You have to find the feeling of it. If it's, I've heard lots of people say that puppy breath just really makes them warm.
Oh yeah, okay.
When a little puppy's and breathing all over your face, it's just like, which is way different than most mature dog breath is. But puppy breath, the smell of babies, a lot of olfactory things can bring positive states that you actually feel and experience in the moment. Music can do the same thing, bring you right here into it. So what's a song or a style of music that just really makes me feel good? Moving your body, especially the music. Now you're combining, you're dancing and just feeling it, and it gets you out of the complaint. It just does. But you have to remember to notice that you're not there, make a choice to be there, and then take the action that gets you there.
Yeah, wonderful. And this is why I like to talk about it so often with you, because it has to be made real. I think, like you mentioned rote, I think, and it's like, oh God, why are Carl and James talking about being grateful again? I'm definitely grateful. Okay, can we just move on now?
I do that.
Yeah, it has to be real, and in the moment, doesn't it? Because that's part of being a human being. Is like things need to, no, they don't need to. They're meaningful if they are really acted upon and made real in the moment, rather than a concept. Because
the intention is to change your frame and to have a different experience. The only way you do that is to be able to embrace whatever you're bringing. So if you're just doing a list of things that you always do, it's like reading a grocery list. It doesn't change how you feel, except maybe it's like, oh God, I got a lot of stuff to get, whatever.
Yeah.
But if you find something like if you're being grateful for family, don't just say family. Think of what made you bring family up as something you're grateful for. Their hugs and their smiles and that, I just close my eyes, their laughter, their playfulness. Oh yeah. And then you feel it.
Yes.
Like, yeah, I really am grateful for that. It's not just I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely. So really do it. We invite you to really do it.
Internalize it. Yes.
Yeah, definitely. And a bit of humor helps as well, doesn't it? Why did James, the red tomato, stop chasing the green cucumber, my friend?
Well, now that we got that lettuce dressing thing or salad dressing thing, I got it in my stomach. Okay.
Because it would never catch up.
Okay.
Thank you, Tita.
What am I grateful for?
Yes. Thank you so much. And the other jokes coming in from Pete, most of which I can't read, of course.
That's not unusual.
Will you stay a couple of Vitor was about to join us and disappeared. Do you want to stay for a couple of minutes and say hi to?
I'll stay for a couple of minutes. Yeah, I'm going to hang out with him on Friday anyway. So.
Oh, nice. Oh, of course, yes, because you're working together. He's something to be grateful for. Dwelling on these then for a moment. Thank you very much, Coach Turner. Family, friends, and well-being for you. And for me, it's I was thinking about it this morning and practicing it as really feeling it now, as you suggested, James. This nation's hospitality. I am very grateful for that. It's culture and notably food and eating out like we did last night. We met up with Sarah Davey last night. It was lovely to see her. She's a commercial associate, of course, as you know, but also a friend now too. It was lovely to hang out with her. And I'm looking at the paralavar part of the culture here. What we didn't eat was brought home in a little box, and it was on the countertop. And I love that little thing, the food, the memory of the food and the food being brought home, and community and friends. The extension of that, hanging out with Sarah, seeing our friends Mike and Dee after, and the warmth and love of family and friends, and how that comes into this community of Gumpers as well. And may I extend that to you on the screen here with me, not just now, but every Monday, James. So thank you, mate. And
my pleasure, truly.
I am feeling that. And that's the difference, isn't it, between I'm grateful for James coming every Monday here.
Thanks, James, for being here. See you later.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
That's a very different than, wow, when I stop and think about it. And there's that sort of sense of landing in it that you feel.
Yes, yeah.
When you get there.
Absolutely. Sarah's here as well. Good morning to you. Grateful to you as one of our friends as well, Sarah. Being aware of something will give us the platform to change it. That's very interesting, because I did want to say something about that, and we'll go to Vitor very soon. And our body will keep dialing up the signal if we ignore it when it has been polite with little nudges. Yeah, so true. Platform for change. Putting something under the spotlight helps us address it if we want to, which is what Bob's talking about here. Years ago, I lived in Columbus, Ohio. I had been trying to find work in Colorado again. Then the local weatherman said, "Enjoy today. It's one of our 74 sunny days of the year." My efforts ramped up. And that's the thing, isn't it?
I gotta get out of here.
Notice, choose, and act. It's like 74 days, I'm out of here. So and that's what we've got, isn't it, available to us. We can take action as well. We are lucky to be able to take the action of it, noticing what's going on for us, including gratitude. And if we don't like what we see, just like Antonio Barbosa says, who was here earlier on, Tony Time, man in the Mino, you're not a tree. You can move. If you can and need to, you can. Yeah,
you can change your mind. You can change the channel. You can change things. It's one thing that is exceptional about being a human being is you can become aware of those things and make a choice about it.
Yeah, and it's quite a day globally, I think, to bear that in mind. There is the narrative. There's what's being presented to us. We're being told what we should watch, and in many ways, depending on what communities we belong to, how we might feel about it. But we still have our own sovereign response to these things, and great power if we choose to. I call it our precious attention. What and how are we giving our precious attention? So thank you, James, for
it's what makes me grateful for my inner 15-year-old. He's a rebellious son of a gun, and his vocabulary is basically primarily two words: F you. I'm grateful for him because he's the one that stands up and says, stop telling me what to do. Don't tell me what kind of day to have. Shut up.
Shut up.
That's the raw him. But the one I filter that, it's like, oh, that's right. I don't have to care what they think. I don't have to do what they say. I don't have to think the way they think, and it calms me down. But he's usually what I'll notice. I won't notice I'm having these subtle desires to punch someone in the face or run away, whatever it is. But he stands up and just like, F you!
Yes.
It's like, okay. Thanks for the reminder. Now, what choice do I make?
Yep.
So that's how you can be grateful for what you might otherwise label as negative. You don't want to go around acting like that 15-year-old.
The old guy in Europe has the inner 15-year-old available to him sometimes with that sort of effect. Thanks, James. Stick around for a moment. Let's bring in a nice round of applause and bring the great Vitor Costa onto the screen. Olá, bom dia.
Olá, Vitor.
Hello. Thank you for having me on stage.
Tudo bem. How are you, Vitor? What are you grateful for this morning?
What am I not?
Oh, good answer, sir. Good
Get
answer.
real and feel it, dude.
Great. Good to see you. Yeah, how are you? How's 2025 going for you?
Yeah, it's going pretty well. We started a little bit sick, which isn't bad. It kind of forced us to do some relaxing and rest and all of that good stuff. So we spent some time together. You probably know, I think you shared with the show already, we now have a ring. So that's nice as well. Went really, really cute. Small.
Parabéns novamente.
Parabéns, absolutely. Sarah's pleased to see you. Yeah, seriously though, from our community, congratulations to you both. A long and happy married life together. Of course, you live together already, and you've sealed the deal, jumped over the broomstick, whatever you call it in Portugal, and we send you a heartfelt and loving congratulations. So well done, you two.
Thank you very much. It felt right. Maybe this was the right time for us to do it. So yeah, really cool, really cool. And so so back in business, back at finding needles in haystacks for people
like me.
Exactly. Because the rental market is still a bit crazy. I mean, all of the markets are a bit crazy, but we're always finding ways. Also, in some cases, we still work with Steve to find more cost-effective solutions that just require a bit of time to get done. Lots of learning going on. So, I'm excited for this year.
Excellent. Oh, lovely to hear that. James, thank you very much for being with us this morning. It's lovely to see you both on the screen, and I know you're hanging out later this week, I believe. So
yes.
Have a great green and red Monday, my friend, partly inspired by you. And we'll see you soon, James. See you next week.
Obrigado.
All right.
Ciao.
There he goes. Right, Vitor. We are talking of green and red Mondays. We are going to talk a little bit about the wonderful help you and Maria mainly, to be fair, right, give to people who want to learn the language. What do you want to share about that today? Because it's a great time to again, everyone has this in the back of their mind, doesn't there? Foreigners, the expats coming over, I must learn more Portuguese. Maria's created a fantastic resource for doing that. And still, it doesn't necessarily happen. It can get pushed to the back of the pile. And what I think she's created is a great way of people being able to apply themselves online and together at times, on calls, online calls as well. Tell us more about this, and I'll bring it onto the screen as well. What's going on with you two and your particular approach to teaching foreigners how to speak Portuguese?
Yeah, certainly. So just a little bit of context before getting there. So as you know, I kind of started working with expats when I came to your show, right? People started getting in contact. We started helping some of them. I had no idea how this thing was done. The first year I got, I think, 190 meetings with potential clients. Yes, but since I was still in the beginning, I couldn't handle all of that. And I think only about 10% of those became clients one way or another. $500 here, $500 there. So it was enough to pay for the expenses, but we were still learning. And then very quickly we started, as we talked to more and more people, first of all, it forced us to step up, be a bigger professional, provide even better value, be an even better agent. But the other thing we started noticing as well is that the integration is also very important. And so our kind of philosophy, and and goal was always to be, a person people could rely on whenever they needed something in Portugal, and help not just get real estate, but also understand the culture, integrate, understand the language a bit more, know what to expect, and have a better experience coming here. And so Maria, she always had both Portuguese people asking her to help her learn English, for her help to learn English, and then English people sometimes would ask her to learn Portuguese, right? Because they're coming here. That's a bit more obvious. And so it kind of started as a hobby for her. She would do these like Zoom meetings and help people here and there. And then one thing led to another, and then she created like this calendar. It's a concept of doing things, with a time frame, instead of just having this vague, just learn Portuguese all the time or whatever. It's like, okay, a specific calendar. This day you do this, you do that, kind of like a plan to follow to actually start getting used to the language. And then she created a school community because after her research, she found out that it's a good place to not only have a community, right? It could help us a little bit and invest in her work, because it's like $10 a month, which doesn't break anyone's bank. Netflix is more expensive nowadays,
right?
And it also, she can create courses and other things in there. Some can be free, some can be paid. And so I was talking to her yesterday, actually, and we decided that because also you helped us get this business kind of started, right? You showed us that there was this need. We decided that the first 15 people who join our skill community and send her a private message through there with what they're grateful of or grateful for, we will offer them the pronunciation calendar, which costs $29, I think.
Right.
So the first 15 people to join and send her a message of what they're grateful for.
Yes.
Netflix is twice as expensive. The first 15 people who join and send her a message of what they're grateful for, then we'll offer that calendar for free.
Right. So what they're up against is they will be subscribing at €10 a month, will they? And then they'll get an additional $10. I beg your pardon, $10 a month to learn Portuguese and be part of the community.
Yes.
And then some of these courses are extra, but she's giving one of them as a free gift, an introductory offer, basically today on Green and Red Monday, right?
Yes, exactly. So real quick, the 30-day European Portuguese challenge on the top left. It's the one that you've done already. You've done it, right?
Well, I haven't. I have, like a lot of people, I have the best of intentions. And what I want to say about this is what I think will make it work is a tipping point. And I find this with my own school community. What's required with all online courses and memberships and groups is a tipping point of people. So that's why I'm encouraged to hear Maria's offer this morning. Is if enough of us pile into there and start talking and hold each other accountable to the process, it's going to be a whole lot more fun, isn't it? Like it is in any, and that's the difficult thing I think that anyone who hosts a community has. It can be quite disappointing, can't it? When you've created as many materials as Maria has done here. These are fantastic. You can see all the effort that's gone in, and my memory of watching your first few videos is they're great fun. You do learn something, and we can't complain anymore that we haven't got fun resources to engage with when such things exist here. But it does take a tipping point and a critical mass of people for it to feel great and fun, rather than like tumbleweed, which is there are a lot of calls on our attention, aren't there? Netflix being one of them. But if enough of us pile in here in one place and commit to it and hold each other accountable, we'll have a lot of fun and a lot of value, I think, from being involved in this community. So thank you.
Certainly. And the more people are there, I believe the better she will feel, and she will have this push, which is natural, right? To do even more.
Yes.
You've probably felt this already. Like maybe there was one time you've made a video that had like 10 times the views, and you're like, oh my God, I need to do more of this.
Yes, exactly. You've got a testimonial here from our great mutual friends, Bob and Viv, Bon Dia Vitor. When we follow any of the language training programs Maria and you offer, we always make great gains. Excellent program. And this is a thing in our time, isn't it? So many calls on our attention, and we have to prioritize what it is we want to learn, and then make the necessary commitment. And here's an opportunity. Here's an invitation.
Look at this. This is just a small sample. I haven't fully read all of these yet.
Right. It is the age we're living in, isn't it? There is so much.
Yes.
That is saying, read me, look at me. And every day it seems to be more and more. And that's becoming a modern, a 21st century skill, isn't it? It's being discerning and choosing the things you really need, and remembering what you said. I want to learn Portuguese, and then doing nothing about it for weeks on end. Here is a very tangible way of doing it. And a few of us could pile in, as I say, and learn together. Sounds like an extrovert. Loads of people piling in will make it more fun. Probably not for this introvert. Okay. Well, yes, and that's also true about learning Portuguese. You do have to find the way that suits you best. What is Maria's MO, her modus operandi for teaching? What with the way that you have both done it, which learning style do you think it suits best?
So we're going with comprehensible input mainly, because that's also, I've talked a bunch of times on the show. I'm also learning Chinese. And that's how I feel it works the best for me, which is conversations in context. And often we make videos, like we do a little play, the two of us, where we have this short sentence, right? And it's done in stages. So I don't know if you can open the 30-day European Portuguese Challenge there, so you can see the picture of the calendar a bit more. The first one, yeah?
Yep. Okay. Yes, we can do that. There we go.
Okay. No, just need to
introduction.
Maybe, resources. See if you can find the calendar in there.
Oh, the calendar itself. I'm not sure if I can. Oh, the resources are, I think, is where the calendar. Yes. No, I can't find that immediately off the top of my head there, but it's in there, isn't it? I mean, it is calendar based.
Truth be told, I haven't made. I mean, I've helped her make the course, so I didn't take it. I kind of already know Portuguese, right?
Yes,
but essentially, it starts with on the first day, you get the audio, and your task is to listen to the audio, and then do it over and over and over again, like. The idea is that you put it on a background noise as you're going about your daily life.
Yes.
And then on the other day, then you read what the text says. So we start by you listening, and only then by you reading the transcript. The reason is because when we speak a language and then we look at text in another language, we automatically are going to read it with our accent on our own language. And you know that Portuguese sounds a bit different than English. And by the way, the opposite is true as well. I still remember in high school, a lot of my colleagues would do atrocities to the English language because they would read it as if it was Portuguese. And so we start like that. And then you have some exercises and then translations. And then it goes on step by step.
Yes.
So you're starting to learn by getting used to the language, because I think it's Steve Kaufman. He's one of the world's biggest polyglots.
Yes, seen him. Yeah.
He says that language is something you get used to, not something you learn, and that's the approach.
Yes. That sums it up nicely. Something you get used to, become accustomed to, are immersed in, like a child learns. Right. This is how they said children learn, immersed in the sounds. Until one day they repeat a few of them, and everyone goes, "Muito bem," and then you're off and running, aren't you?
Exactly. Oh, and another thing also, which is important, the calendar that we are offering today is the pronunciation calendar. So she goes in detail about each sound each letter makes.
Yeah,
all of the sounds each letter makes, so that then you start with that awareness. of what sounds exist. And once again, this is something that seriously helped me with Chinese. I watched a very extensive video on the sounds of Mandarin Chinese. I didn't memorize all of them. It was hard as I was listening to even distinguish between of them, but because I knew they existed, slowly but surely, I started to kind of pinpoint each sound.
Okay.
And so that's also what we're going for here. And no, Maria does not teach Welsh, unfortunately.
Okay. And no, I'm not interested in doing Good Morning Wales. I mean, no offense to Welsh people, but we've got enough going on here. Oh, listen, he's saying mama. Exactly. That's how we'll be learning. And I'm sure Maria can give us some muito bem from time to time as well. So there we go. Acquisition versus learning. Yes, that's another way of looking at it, Mr. S. Thank you for being here this morning.
Correct.
And a little bit of bit more feedback and responses here, Sarah. Okay, I'm back at it, and I've already sent Maria a message. I still have Portuguese in a certain situations because of your awesome recordings from the classes, which I found to be a game changer. That's excellent to know. Peda, I did Maria's course, got a bit lost after the first. However, really enjoyed the first part. Obrigado, Maria. And I hope you have explained why, Peda, because it's very helpful for anyone who delivers courses to know how and why you got lost, so the courses can evolve as well. And Sarah's saying, I just needed a nudge, so thank you for showing up. That's what we're about this morning, is a bit of a reminder, gentle reminder, and the instructions once again to take advantage of the offer is to go to this link and send Maria a message once you've signed up. Is that right, Vitor?
Yeah, of what you're grateful of, to keep in tune with the show.
And is that grateful for it with Portuguese life or just in general? Is it any kind of gratitude?
In general, yeah. It's
message of gratitude.
It'll be the key tone for
Yes.
for her knowing income from here.
Wonderful. Okay, well, thank you so much for being here this morning. Is there anything else you wanted to share? Did you want to share anything about Portugal Door and your work, helping people move to Portugal, of course, as well as the language learning?
Yeah, of course. So maybe I'll touch upon a little bit on what you said, with the attention span nowadays and whatever.
Yes.
So that is true. And that is why I've started more and more to want to focus. What do I mean by focus? So I have this now huge preference for picking one person I want to work with. I'm not talking about clients in this case, but for example, if I need a lawyer, a solicitor, or an engineer or something like that, I prefer to work really, really hard and long to pinpoint and find one person I can trust. Yes. And then I go with that person. Yeah. And I focus on that person and build a relationship. So that way we can start working even better with each other, understanding how things work and building up on that. Only looking for a plan B if they, for some reason, absolutely cannot do something. And so we've also applied that a little bit with working with clients as well. So, for example, now with buyers in particular, so for a few months now, actually, we've been using a very specific buyer's agreement. It's very complete. It covers the buyer, it covers the agent as well. Because initially, I noticed that many expats would send messages to 10 agents. 10 agents would scramble around like cockroaches, trying to find whatever is on the market to see if they were first to the finish line. Yeah. The clients would get flooded with the same properties. None of them would be interested. And then some of them would end up just buying with the seller directly. Mm-hmm. And sometimes there would be problems because, real estate here isn't as straightforward. And so we now like to explain really, really well what we do, what we offer. Our client ensures that we get that compensation paid. And if we can get a split with the other agency, whatever our client agreed to gets deduced. So let's say that we agreed to 3% plus tax and the other agency pays us 2.5. Our client only pays us the 0.5. And we actually represent the buyer. We make sure all of the documentation is legal and in order. We make sure everything is nice. We negotiate to make sure not only they get the best deal, but also that they can get the deal, because that's important as well. And that's how I've been working. It's been working better, and it's absolutely fine if somebody doesn't feel comfortable to work with us in our terms. Of course, maybe the first visit or something like that, depending on the client, maybe sometimes, we can do it without an agreement because they're still getting to know us. They don't know exactly how we work. But yeah, we're starting to be a bit more specific on that. And we want to have a relationship with clients where we work as a team and not really as mercenaries, that if we find an apartment or a property, then we make a sale. But if we don't, then...
And that's come over time, isn't it? That refining and evolving that approach. And it's lovely to hear that's where you've got to. And it's completely understandable, isn't it? When you're new to the business, you're just jumping at everything, aren't you, to try and make it work? And I'm really
exactly. It's a learning experience as well.
Yeah, and that's where to find if you want some support over here. And that's why James works with you. He likes the cut of your jib, as it were, which is a nice English idiom. And there's probably a Portuguese one as well. He likes the I was going to say the shape of your cockerel. I'm not sure that's a Portuguese saying, but you get the gist. You get the gist there. Portugaldoor.com is where to find Vitor and Maria. And don't forget that very special offer, very kind offer she's made. And why don't we get back on the Portuguese language wagon together? For those of you extroverts who want to pile in there today, I shall be making an appearance there myself. So love to Maria, to you and the extended Costa family. Across Pontalim and Barcelos over there. Thanks, Vitor, and we'll see you again next month, my friend, if not before. Take care.
Yes, sir.
Bon dia.
By representation.
Ciao, ciao. There he goes. That's how to get in touch with him. Good morning to you, Antonio F. Good to see you. We are hanging around for a few more extra minutes on this green and red Monday here in Portugal. Thank you for those of you who bothered to type in your 3 things that you're grateful for. You only need one of those if you reach out to Maria today, and she'll send you an extra course on top of the signing up with her and having some fun. Actually, that's another part of how they roll, having some fun learning the language. That's called biorepresentation, and who works without one sign in place so everyone knows what their expectations are. Yes, managing expectations, offering a professional service. James Campbell. Lots of Welsh talk and a little bit of Scottish talk as well. James, James Holley wanted to be in touch with you. He asked me to connect him to you regarding something you asked on the show. So send me a message, 913-590-303. James Holley has something for you. James Campbell, isn't it nice to connect up the Gumper switchboard in that way? A lot of talk about Wales. Here's a couple of mentions of the Scots this morning. Jocks are the best to work alongside. I say it from experience, says JMC, who I'm assuming is Portuguese, with a little bit of international travel under the belt there and some experience of the Brits, British people generally speaking. Old friend of mine, says Coach, a grumpy Scotsman was leaving a restaurant in Phoenix, Arizona, when the waiter said, "Have a nice day." As they do, John turned with a snarl and said, "Way, way." Who won't be told to have a nice day there, but was probably quite cheerful inside having done that. It's funny how people get their happiness in life, isn't it? What is the offer again? The offer again is to go to the European Portuguese Allies community, and I'm going to find the link for you and put it back on the screen, especially for you, James Campbell. You will sign up at $10 a month, which is half the cost of Netflix, is what other James told us. And if you send her a message, if you send Maria a message upon joining, maybe this applies to people who've already joined. If you reinvigorate your membership today and tell Maria why you're grateful, she will gift you an extra pronunciation course on top of your membership, because there are a few downloadable extra courses to buy there. And if you're or subscribe to over there, and if you're feeling especially generous, you can support us to Good Morning Portugal's community as well. Also on School, which I think is an amazing bit of technology. If there's the critical mass, if there's the momentum there, these are amazing platforms, amazing pieces of technology at School there, and that's ours as well, closely allied to Vitor and to Maria. A couple of well-being messages then. We'll focus more. It'll be Chill Out Tuesday tomorrow. Sarah will be popping in to say hi, and hopefully we'll have some other... gone out of focus there. Marion Guerre will also be joining us for a bit of Chill Out Tuesday. Well-being, we'll extend the well-being coverage, and we'll do a little bit of... We'll springboard from this, because there is a very good well-being tip on this little list here. The most underused medical tools. I thought this was interesting and wanted to share with you. Fasting. Don't do a lot of that, do we? Especially here in Portugal when there's so much good food to eat. But fasting is said to be an underused medical tool. Just giving it a rest for a bit. Sunlight. And thankfully, we have 300 days of that here, or so I hope to prove this year. Sleep. Oh, wouldn't that be lovely? Lots of sleep. Nature. We have that too, don't we? The beach. Real food. Yes. Check. Exercise. Come on. Coach Turner leading the way with that. Heat and cold, I'm not sure what that means, but maybe to enjoy the extremes. Is that cold plunges and saunas, hot saunas? Salt. They've been telling us, haven't they? They have been telling us salt is bad for us. Depends on the kind of salt, and that's worth looking at again, isn't it? And again, here in Portugal, isn't that wonderful that we've got a lovely sea salt and excellent sources of natural salt here in Portugal? Magnesium, often see that mentioned as a well-hidden health benefit, or having health beneficial properties. Chat to a professional about these things, of course. I'm just giving you some serving suggestions here. Earthing. And Mrs. Emma's got a grounding mat and a little thing that goes under the bed sheets as well to ground. You can do that. Do a bit of earthing and grounding. Meditation and laughter at number 12, leading us nicely to some more of those Stephen Wright, I think I should probably call him. Laughter, the best medicine. How do you tell when you're out of invisible ink? Oh, yes. Good question, Stephen Wright. If everything seems to be going well, you've obviously overlooked something. Not on Green and Red Monday, Stephen. Depression is merely anger without enthusiasm. I think we can relate to that, can't we? From time to time. When everything is coming your way, you're in the wrong lane. Ambition is a poor excuse. Well, the one-liners just keep on coming, don't they, with Stephen Wright? Ambition is a poor excuse for not having enough sense to be lazy. Hard work pays off in the future. Laziness pays off now. I intend to live forever. So far, so good. If Barbie is so popular, why do you have to buy her friends? Eagles may soar, but weasels don't get sucked into jet engines. Yeah. What happens if you get scared half to death twice? What an incredible mind this man has. My mechanic told me I couldn't repair your brakes, so I made your horn louder. That sounds like a Portuguese repair. Why do psychics have to ask you for your name? Very good indeed. And at 25, look, yes, 35 of these that I found, and there he is, the legend Stephen Wright. If at first you don't succeed, destroy all evidence that you even tried in the first place. A conclusion is the place where you got tired of thinking. Experience is something you don't get until just after you need it. The hardness of the butter is proportional to the softness of the bread. Yes, everyday wisdom there. To steal ideas from one person is plagiarism. To steal from many is research. Oh, yes, going back to my scientific research projects. The problem with the gene pool is that there is no lifeguard. Sorry, coughing fit. Because of these, the sooner you fall behind, the more time you'll have to catch up. Nice reframe, you see? You don't have to be a victim. You can be creative. The colder the x-ray table, the more of your body is required to be on it. Oh, yeah. Everyone has a photographic memory. Some just don't have film. If at first you don't succeed, skydiving is not for you. If your car could travel at the speed of light, would your headlights work? Wow, credit to the respective owner. That would be Stephen Wright right there on your screen. Excellent to be able to share his work. Laughter, perhaps being the best medicine. Have a great Green and Red Monday, friends. And remember, if you haven't already done so, how about writing down 3 things that you are grateful for? I'll put your final comments over the titles. Take care. Bye for now. And we'll see you tomorrow for a bit of a chill out Tuesday. Take care. And ciao for now.
Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. A little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.